Hello everybody, this is the Wombourne Stormtrooper here. Now today on my first video I've decided that I will show you my armour that I bought and basically can show you what it consists of and tell you where I got it from, and then I'll actually put it on for you. I won't do a video, I won't actually show you me putting it on, due to the fact that I'm the only one that's actually in the house at the moment, and I do need help putting it on because it is a bit awkward. So we will start off with the helmet, or as a lot of people like to call it, the bucket. So yeah, it is obviously a Stormtrooper helmet, as you can see. I mean, Wombourne Stormtrooper, what did you expect? So obviously, as you can see, it's made of plastic. It's not made of metal or anything like that. I mean, yeah, we made of money. But yeah, so the Stormtrooper armour I've got myself is from the original Stormtrooper.com. I don't think it's actually the original Stormtrooper.com. It's originalstormtrooper.com, but yeah, I'll put a link in the description, don't worry about it. So yeah, basically the armour that I've got is actually the cheapest version, which is the battle spec line, and I must admit, for costuming in, the battle spec is probably the better one because it's cheaper. So if you do damage it, it's not as expensive as some of the fiberglass ones and the more expensive ones with the thicker plastic. Because these ones are, first of all, they're made up of lots of different pieces that are put together instead of being complete whole moulds. So such as the helmet. The helmet has actually got about 4 different set pieces to it that are all different, that are all separate, and even the front bit's separate to this bit, which is why it can move a bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it does move a bit. So yeah, basically this one is made up of pieces almost that are glued together, which makes it a lot cheaper, but also makes it a lot easier, so if you do damage it, you can replace it. Now, obviously I don't know whether you have noticed, but the actual eyes have got a green lens on them, and you might think, well, what is it green for? Well, the green is actually the proper lens colour, that's screen accurate, but for mine, when it came as one solid, I don't know if you can see, but it came as one solid green sort of like strip that went across the whole thing. So what I've done is I've cut the strip up into 2 smaller pieces and stuck it around each individual eye, which makes it look a lot better from the outside because all the plastic's all in one, goes in one angle, there's not lots of dents in it. And it also is better when I've got it on, so it's not as irritating, and as you might be able to see in there, I've put some padding and foaming and stuff in it to make it and sit on my head easier. As you might be able to, you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, but this one eye actually does need a bit of a readjustment because the plastic that's used for the eyes is very thin, and what's happened is that one side of it's been pulled a bit too much and it's creased itself, so when you actually look at it, instead of it being a smooth curve for the eyepiece, it's actually a bit sort of like bent and it doesn't look very nice. But yeah, then all the rest of the detail is actually just stickers and stuff that they've just stuck on there. But like they're not like stickers that are just going to come off. They are good stickers. But like I said, with the advantage of having this armour is it's cheaper, it's much lighter, it's actually much easier to wear compared to some of the more expensive ones because of the fact that the plastic is thinner, so it bends a bit more, and obviously with it being lighter it's a bit more comfortable. And also, as I said, it's a bit cheaper, so if you do break it, it's not the end of the world, and also you can get replacement parts quite cheaply off things like places like Amazon and stuff. So yeah, so that's the helmet. Next, we will move on to the blaster. Now, I've kept the blaster in the box because it's a nice box. Everything else is actually kept in this massive trunk that my mum had when she went to university, and it's all in this big trunk right at my feet. I'll probably show you it later. But yeah, so this is the blaster inside this box. You probably won't be able to see it. There you go. And here, this is the certificate of authenticity. I can't say it that well. Right, so basically it's got the serial number of the gun, and there's also got the sign thing on it and everything. Now if you go for the really, really expensive version of the whole thing, you actually get the helmet and the things and stuff actually properly signed by the creators. So yeah, this is the blaster in here with the sticker of authenticity. The helmet's also on the inside, that's also got a sticker and a serial number. Ooh. And I don't know if you might have seen it in the video just when I did that, but yeah, basically it just tells you that it's where it's from and that it's proper and it's not someone that someone's made in the garden shed. Not to say that ones people make themselves are bad, it just shows you this is an authentic one made by the original company. So let me just get the blaster out of its box. So here we go, this is the E11 blaster, so it's very, very light because it's made out of plastic. Some parts, and the same with the armour, instead of it being one solid cast set, it's actually made up of different pieces, because you can obviously see the screws, some of the screws and things that they put on the blaster. Obviously you probably won't see them in the video, but some of the screws that they put on the blaster are purely for like aesthetic purposes. But some of it is actually done deliberately because it's actually separate pieces. Also, this blaster is the cheaper option, and it's probably the best one to have if you're going to do what I do, which is going to walk around with it, because it's much lighter, and if you do drop it on the floor, it's less likely to break. And if it does break, it's a lot cheaper to replace, or it's a lot cheaper to replace the parts for it. Now, the only separate piece that you have with the gun is the ammo pack, which just slots in here. It's a bit stiff. Oh dear. There we go. So that's the full blaster with the ammo pack on there. My ammo pack's really stiff and difficult to get in. I think that's because I haven't really used it I haven't really taken it in and out very much. I tend to just leave it in because it makes it easier, because there's no point in taking it out. Then here you have the serial number again on the blaster. You may be thinking, what the heck's this silver thing here? It is meant to be there, don't worry. It's just, it is actually there in the film, you just don't notice it really. So it's the gun itself, like I said, very, very lightweight. You aim it. It's all just made out of plastic, and not the sight doesn't work or anything, and the trigger's just stuck in position. But obviously you don't want to have a movable trigger, because obviously that's when it could potentially break. Now if you go for the more expensive option, it does come with a stand and everything that looks a lot nicer and stuff, but I just went for the cheaper one, which sort of like came as a pack. So I got the armour with the helmet and all the undersuit and the blaster, and I think you had like £150 discount over the overall price if you bought it as this set. So that's what I did, so it was quite good. So yeah, that's the blaster. Right, so next we will move on to the gloves. Now, the gloves for my set are just some quite fancy black washing up gloves with these white armour pieces just sort of like stuck on the top. It is Velcro, so obviously if you want to replace the gloves you can, and if you need to replace these you can, because I've actually already got a spare set of these that I bought myself. They're in the box. But there's no point getting those out yet. But yeah, basically, obviously they just go on your hand like that. Now these gloves are just a tad bit big for my hand, which honestly I'm not too worried about, to be honest. It's not the end of the world, because obviously once you've got all the armour on, all this is gone, you don't see it. And also once you've got the armour on as well, you don't tend to notice the glove that much. And when you're holding the blaster, and if you're holding something else, then no one really notices it that much. But yeah, the only problem I would say with the gloves is that because the rubber gloves, if you wear them for a long time, it does get they go very damp and sweaty inside. It's all horrible. You have to wash them out afterwards properly. It's all disgusting. Now, throughout watching this, you might notice that there are some marks on my armour. Now, basically, the problem that I have with it at the minute is because it's very new. There are still bits of glue from things like the Velcro and stuff that have been stuck on there. This isn't a really big problem. I mean, it's not going to ruin it or anything. It's just obviously, because the armour's white, you don't notice it until you've worn it for a bit, and then you see things have stuck in certain places to bits of residue and stuff off certain parts of the armour. The belt's the main area that sort of like's got a bit of that on, and I just need to clean, and eventually I need to find where all of it is and just clean it all up. So if you do notice any marks, it's not damage or anything, it's just where a bit of the residue off some of the Velcro and glue and stuff has just stayed on, and I just need to at some point clean it off. Because I've only actually so far worn this actually out trooping once, and that was to my school for children in need, and it actually went quite well. I wore it for most of the day, and it actually went really well. I thought it would be really tiring, but it was actually quite fun. So next we've got the undersuit. Now obviously this is a big black undersuit, which goes obviously under the armour to make it look all nice. Obviously if you've just got nothing underneath the armour, you can just see all your skin or whatever clothes you've got on, it looks absolutely appalling. Now that undersuit is a tad bit too big, because I am actually a bit too short for the armour, because I think the ideal height is like 5'9", 5'10", and I'm about 5'8". So the minimum is about 5'6". If you're shorter than about 5'6", wearing it, you can wear it, it's just you'll have to do some adjustments to it, because the armour itself, the pieces are too big and they overlap with each other and you physically can't move in it very well, so you have to start cutting it away. Now, I'm thankful that I can actually wear it without having to worry about cutting anything off, because I don't particularly want to do that. It's not that I can't do it, it's just that I don't want to do it because I don't really want to ruin it. And also, if I do end up growing a bit more, or if anyone else wants to wear it, they might not be able to because it's ruined. Though, having said that, no one else probably will be able to wear it, because there are some minor adjustments that I have already made using sponges and Velcro and stuff to make some of the pieces fit on me a bit better, so they're not just all flopping about and stuff. So yeah, next we've got the neck seal, which is sort of like speaks for itself really. It is the seal that goes around the neck like this. Basically all this does is it means that when you're wearing your helmet, if you're moving your neck, if you're moving the helmet up and down and stuff, and you can see underneath the helmet, it keeps it from people seeing that there's your neck's there and people actually seeing that someone in the armour, because that is sort of what the whole idea is. You're meant to sort of like show the fact that there's nobody there, and obviously if you can see all this person's neck underneath, it's sort of like the illusion sort of ruined. Which is also the one problem I do have with the helmet at the minute, is that the mouthpiece at the front, all the pieces are actually open, and I need to put some material over the top of it just so it's not so obvious that I'm there, because there's a few pictures that I put on my Facebook page and you can actually see me through the mouthpieces at the bottom. So yeah, so that's the neck seal. I tend to do it where I'll put the neck seal on, then I'll put the undersuit over the top, and then just because this black sort of material that comes off the bottom of the neck piece is a lot more comfortable to have on you than to have the sort of like the top of the undersuit on over the top, because the undersuit itself, with it being a bit big on me, it collects around my neck and it can sometimes be a bit itchy and irritating, so I tend to have this underneath it to stop it doing that, which it doesn't change what it looks like, it still looks the same, it's absolutely fine. Now underneath, on the actual head underneath the helmet, I've so far worn a balaclava, just sort of like a normal base one. I don't have it with me, but it's just a normal balaclava, like not a big full-faced one. It's just one that goes up round my mouth, because obviously I don't want to restrict my speaking too much, because you can barely hear what I'm saying in the armour anyway. So yeah, I'm going to do some more videos on all these extra bits and bobs though, just so you can see. For now, it's just about the armour though. If I do waffle on a few places though, so I'm sorry, I do waffle quite a bit, but not all. Now, this isn't to do with the armour at all, but, let me just get these out. These are just an old pair of shorts, which I wear underneath the undersuit. Because the problem is, if it is a cold day, like when I went to do the trooping at my school, that was quite cold, and though you do get very warm in the armour, if you do get a bit damp from like the condensation building up on the inside of the plastic and stuff, it can become quite damp, and if you haven't got it clothes underneath the undersuit, can get quite cold, especially if you're outside like I was. So I do wear a pair of shorts and I do wear a t-shirt underneath the undersuit, and it also just helps the armour stay on a bit more, because obviously it means that there's a bit more sort of like stuff there for the armour to grip onto, because some of the pieces are quite large. Next, we will move on to the shoes. Now, these shoes are hilarious. Everyone I've shown, sorry about that. Everyone I've shown thinks the shoes are hilarious. Now, the shoes themselves are a tad bit dirty because I need to clean them. I haven't cleaned them yet. My parents keep moaning at me to do that. I do need to do it at some point. So the shoes themselves are, I think, I can't remember, it's the summit of Amazon, I can't remember the name of them. I'll put a link in the description for these as well. Now, the shoes were the only things that didn't come with the armour. You could get screen accurate ones off the website, but they were very expensive. These are a much cheaper alternative that you can get off Amazon for about 30 quid. which aren't that bad. Now the shoes themselves are a tad bit big, so I've put insoles in them and that works quite well. Now obviously when you've got the armour on, the loo look quite nice. I have had to score the bottom of them a tad bit with a knife just to make it so there's a bit more grip, because the bottom of them were very shiny and obviously the last thing I want to do is fall over in the armour. Now the only problem I have had with the shoes, which I assume is a problem for most people who wear them, I haven't really looked into it yet, but I do need to do something about it. It's just that, I don't know whether you can see it in the camera, but basically on this shoe, the bottom leg piece is actually starting to rub away some of the white coating on the shoe. Now that's not a problem, because when I actually wear the armour, it covers it anyway, so you don't really notice. But obviously, with wearing it quite a bit, it will eventually wear the shoe away a bit. And I have seen videos where people have used just a bit. I'm probably just going to use some like white wire tape or electric tape or something like that. That will hopefully work. I'm not 100% sure, but should be fine. Now I will move on to looking at the belt. Now the belt is probably one of the largest pieces by actual size in itself, because if I undo it, it's extremely long, though, because obviously when I store it actually together like this, so it stays in its shape, and it just makes it a lot easier to store because it's a lot smaller. Now the belt itself has just got Velcro and Velcro there, which uses it to attach together like that. Then there's a small bit of Velcro here, which it uses to attach to the front chest, well not chest piece, the front piece of the armour. The belt's absolutely fine. The only problem I do have with the belt is that I have a holster, and the holster, especially even without the gun in it, makes it too heavy and the belt slides down, so I will at some point need to put some extra Velcro on the back of the belt to go on the back parts of the armour just to make it fit a bit nicer. And these obviously are the ammo packs and things, but overall the belt itself I'm quite pleased with. It does look quite nice. I haven't had any problems with the belt at all yet, obviously apart from that it falls down if I put the holster on, but the holster I don't really need, to be perfectly honest, at the moment. It will look better later on, but for now I can do without the holster. Down, right, I'll get to these next just because they're easy to hand. Now these are parts of the arm pieces. Now all these, the rest of the pieces, apart from the chest and to body parts, all of them are two pieces that have been glued together. One side's glued, the other side's got Velcro on it. Now the Velcro obviously is used like that to put it on, but obviously you can overlap it a bit further if you want to make it a bit tighter. Now as you can see in here possibly, there's the press stud, so that's how you attach most of it together, is used by press studs. Oh dear, sorry about that, my throat's a bit dry. Yeah, so there's glue, as you can see, there's yellow glue around the plastic, because the only major problem I've had with the armour so far is the fact that the studs themselves are on a piece of plastic, which is then itself glued onto the armour, which is absolutely fine. It's just that some of the glue that's glued onto it isn't that strong, so I've had to put some extra glue around the edges just to make it a bit stronger. Then, I don't know whether you can see this in the camera, let me just put it really close, but the actual, inside the actual piece itself, you might be able to see a little sticker, and basically the stickers represent which side it should go on, whether it should go on your left or your right. Now I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is, but I will be able to remember which one it is once I've got the leg pieces out, because the leg pieces are very obvious which leg they go on, because obviously of their shape. But yeah, so these pieces, if you didn't know, basically I don't know whether this is the right side that I'm putting it on, but basically they go on your arm like that. Not that way around or anything, but that's basically where they go on your arm. They go up here, and they go underneath the shoulder plate. Now I am showing this in a very weird order. It's not in any set order, it's just really whichever order it comes out of my box easiest at. So yeah. Next we will go on to the CO2 canister. Now this really isn't part of the actual armour, just a bit of an add-on to make it look nicer. It actually sits on the back of the belt like this with the clip. Now you probably won't be able to see this in the camera either, but it is scratched a bit, the belt, and that's just because there's some screws on the inside of the clip, which is what's used to attach the belt. And it's not really much of a problem, because obviously the CO2 canister will cover it up anyway, because it's the CO2 canister that's creating it. And you don't want to wear the belt without the CO2 canister, because it does look a bit odd. But yeah, other than that, the The CO2 canister is absolutely fine. Some people can have problems with it falling off and stuff, but I haven't had any problems with it yet. So yeah. So next we'll move on to the chest and back piece, and also the shoulder plates, which I've got attached on. Now, this one I'm holding in my hand is actually comprised of 6 parts. That's the thing now. I'm sorry, that's the thing. But yes, it's got these 2 pieces here which go over the top of your shoulder, and these connect the chest plate with the back plate. Now, so as you can see, that's the back plate, that's the chest plate. You might be able to see there's a bit of a marking on there. That's just off the trim at the bottom of the helmet. It tends to rub on the chest plate, which can leave some black marks. There are ways of getting around it, like putting tape on it and stuff to stop it rubbing. Or what I've done is I've just sort of like given the strip a bit of a clean, and what's that's done is it's just sort of like got rid of that surface, sort of like that surface residue from when it was first done, and it now seems to not do it as much. If you do get it though, I'll just give it a bit of a wipe with some alcohol wipes and stuff, and it will come off. These are obviously the shoulder plates, so what I'll do with this later on, when I actually put it on, is I'll keep it all together like this, so I just slip it over the top of my head and it all goes on perfectly fine. Yeah, so obviously, as I said before, this is all still made of the same plastic, which does make it a bit more flexible at the sides and things. So you can sort of like pull it a bit more at the sides to make it fit a bit tighter. Because you don't want the armour to be too loose around the body section, because the armour will, what will happen is that the chest piece can go underneath the lower piece, which can be a problem, especially for me anyway, because it's really, if that does happen, it's a bit difficult to get it out again, because you have to pull the armour up and then over. I'll explain later once I've got it on, but that's sometimes a problem if you don't do it up tight enough. And I'm spending about a week putting it on and off, mainly to show people who came round, but during that week I spent loads of time adjusting it, wearing it different ways, and I've now basically got it to a point now where I know how to put it on, and have adjusted it enough so it fits properly. So yeah, that's the upper body piece. Let's just leave it, hopefully that won't fall over. Right, next, this is the holster. Won't spend much time on this. This is just sort of like made out of it's literally just made out of sheets of a leather type material that have just been cut and put on in different ways. Obviously the gun itself will fit in there. I won't bother putting it in. Then this obviously goes through the belt, these 2 pieces here, and then it will go on whichever side you like. I normally put it on the right side, but obviously, as I said before, ignore that, was the air freshener thing if you just heard that. So yeah, the gun itself will go in here, and it will go on my side. Obviously, as I've said, even though there isn't really much to it, it is heavy enough to weigh down the belt. So as I said, I don't actually wear that too much at the moment. Then here, these aren't part of the armour, these are just extra things I've got. I've got a reel of Velcro, extra strong and heavy duty Velcro, which I've bought. This is either for replacing Velcro that may go, so obviously Velcro won't last forever, it will go funny. So I've got that to replace it, and I keep that in my box to keep it all together, just so I know where everything is. And then I've got a collection of sponges. Now the sponges I use for cleaning the armour, I use them for putting inside the armour with me, just to help pad it out so it's not too loose, and things like that. And the one big thing I've got to do at some point is redo the inside of my helmet, because it was sort of like crudely done, ready for this Children in Need event that I did, and I really need to go and do it properly, just to make it look a bit nicer on the inside and also make it fit my head better. Right, now these pieces are all together in the box together, so I might as well show you them now. So this is one of the lower leg pieces, which goes on your left leg. So green, you can see the green there, green is for left with the sniper plate on. I hope this is it is the right way around, I think. I hope it is. If it isn't, please don't kill me, all the costuming people. I'm sorry. But yeah, so as you can see again with this are 2 pieces. That side's glued, this side is Velcro, so you can clap it around your leg. Then this sniper plate is actually separate and screwed on using 2 screws either side, and then a bit of glue at the top. And obviously this also, as I said before, means you can replace it if it does get broken. So that's one of the bottom leg pieces. These are the lower arm pieces, which go on your arm like this. Now, obviously these are made of 2 pieces. There's a piece here, Then that there is the Velcro side. Obviously you can, as I said before, you can overlap it a bit just to make it a bit tighter. And that goes on your arm there like that. And then there's obviously the other one for the inside, which I've got in a second. Now these are the upper leg pieces. Now these pieces, as you can see, are absolutely ginormous. These are again attached to the actual body plate using press studs. As you can see, on these ones I haven't actually re-glued them because I'm planning on moving them down a bit because the position on my legs aren't 100%, but yeah. So as you can see, these are the same as all the others, and as you can see with this plastic it makes it very flexible so it's easy to open them and stuff. So these will sit on either side. Obviously this is the left side, then the right side is sort of that way around. But yeah, so these are the upper leg pieces. These are really big and tend to be the ones I use the sponges for. Whoops, that just fell over. So if I need to use the sponges for anything, it's going to be in those pieces because they are the much larger pieces. Then here we've got exactly the same, but just for the other side. So this is all the pieces for the right hand side. So this is the right leg piece, as you can see, exactly the same as the other one, just without the sniper plate. Now when you actually look at these up close, you will notice that there are some sort of like, the plastic isn't perfectly rounded. That's because in the films they weren't perfect. It's like the helmet itself is actually wonky on to one side's bigger than the other, and that is screen accurate. The armour itself wasn't completely perfect. And so obviously that's the right bottom leg piece, that's the right arm piece. And then here, we've got the right upper leg piece. Obviously again, it's got the press stud. This one has then obviously got this round the bottom. I have no idea what it's called or what it's there for. Please, if you do know what it is there for, say, because I haven't really been bothered to look into it that much. I do know the other one is the sniper plate, but I don't know what that one is for at all, so yeah. Here, this isn't part of the armour again either, but this here is a manual on how to put the armour on. Then there's a that's the certificate of authenticity for the armour itself, and I'm sorry I can't pronounce authenticity right. Please don't joke about it. I can't say it right. It's not my fault, please. It's my dodgy accent is what it is. So that's the certificate of authenticity. I'm just about to say it. Then these are just books which show you from the original Stormtrooper or Shepperton Design Studios, and it just sort of like shows you different helmets that they do, different armours that they do, and just sort of like does a bit of advertising. So, as I said before, the website's the original Stormtrooper.com, but it's actually the Shepperton Design Studios that do it because they're the ones that made the armour for the original films. Now, the last pieces I have in here are the kidney plate, which is this one here, the top one, and then you've got the two lower chest pieces. Well, that's the lower front piece, that's the lower back piece at the bottom, connected, as you can see, by a press stud in the middle. Then, as you can see on these, with these two, it's very clear to see on the inside that you have Velcro on the sides for fastening the sides. And then you can also see all the different press studs and all of the different straps and things that are used on the inside to keep it all together. You can also see here clearly where I've gone for all of the different bits of glue and stuff to keep it all together. Now, these are some of the most awkward pieces to put on and also to get right measurement wise. And as you can see, the pieces are a bit dusty and a bit dirty, but they're absolutely fine. Then obviously on here is this is the other two pieces at the back, don't really have anything on them, but this is the one with all the buttons on and things. Now these themselves are just drawing pins pretty much with colour on them. They've been painted, and that there is a bit of Velcro for the belt. The only problem I've got with this piece here is that the top chest plate, if I'm going up and down stairs, because it's really difficult to get up and down stairs in it, but if you're moving around too much in it, or right, so hello everybody. As you can see, this is what the armour looks like once it's on. It is extremely warm in this, especially when I'm inside the house, because it's very, very, very hot in here. So as I said before, when I'm outside I wear clothes. When I'm inside I probably wouldn't wear anything underneath the undersuit because it's warm in here anyway without having clothes on underneath. Also it is quite warm in this room as well. If you get walking around in it, it's absolutely fine. You don't tend to notice that much when you're walking around. It's mainly when you're standing still for a long period of time. Right, I know the video cut out. It's because the camera decided to run out of battery on me, even though it said it had full batteries. Obviously it was lying. Right, so obviously as you can see, this is what it looks like once it's all on. There's a few things I don't have. It's not 100% perfect, so as I said before, I wasn't going to put it on, but in the end I decided I would do. Because I can put it on myself, it's just I can't put everything on, it doesn't look as good. Now obviously, the CO2 canister is actually over here. I haven't put that on because it's really difficult to get it on. If I turn round, you'll notice that there's two straps loose at the top, there and there somewhere. And then you'll also notice that the actual back pieces themselves are all really badly out of the line. Now basically what happens is that normally when I do this I get my sister to help me because she does up all the back pieces and can see, whereas I can't see when I'm doing it, and also it's really awkward to put it on once you've got certain pieces of the armour actually on. It makes it really almost impossible to do things. Also, the one thing I would tell anyone to do if they're going to put their armour on themselves, or even if you've got someone to help them, put it all at a height where you can reach it without having to bend down, because once you've got it on you can't really bend down at all in it. Yeah, so obviously this is the armour. Let me just put the helmet on. There we go, so I don't know whether you'll be able to hear me. I am shouting quite loud, hopefully you'll be able to hear me. It's very warm in here now, it's getting very hot. Basically, what I was saying before the video cut out, I don't know exactly where it did cut out, but as I was saying, with this bottom piece here, with all the buttons on, basically all those dots are drawing pins, and the biggest problem I have with them is the paint that's on them gets rubbed off by this top chest piece. You can rub the paint off. So I'm currently looking at getting some paint that can put it on. I'm really sorry if this section is very loud and echoey. It's just I need to shout so you can hear me, and this room's quite empty, so it's quite echoey, so I do apologise. So this is what I look like with everything on. All good. You may notice that the shoulder pieces are look a bit awful because of the fact they're not attached properly, but other than that it should be okay. The manoeuvrability in it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but it is pretty good. As I've already said, I've worn it a few times now. There's a few problems I need to sort out, like some parts, especially like these pieces here, come loose a bit and I have to adjust them. Obviously, the back pieces, they need to be sorted out when they get out of the line because they're a problem. And also I've got to sort out my mouth a bit just so you don't see me on the inside. Other than that, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, this is me in my armour. Let me just take the helmet off. So there we go, perfect. This is the problem I have. Basically, the back piece rides up, which pushes this one up, and it basically makes this happen. Now this isn't, I have seen people walk around wearing it like this, but I just think it looks awful because it's not meant to look like this anyway. Yes, this is the problem I do have. If it's adjusted properly and put on properly, this shouldn't happen, but it's actually quite nice that this has happened. So you know what I mean. Basically, this is what happens if it's not put on properly. So what I do is I tend to put it on very tight and use the belt to push all the pieces in at the back together and keep it all together. So gun, helmet, lovely, everything. So thanks everyone for watching. This is my first video. I know it's quite long, but that's just because I'm going through everything. I'm sorry that it cut out in the middle. That shouldn't have happened. I'm also sorry that this has now happened. This shouldn't have happened either. But it's fine. I don't mind. It's quite good. I'll happen to guys so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, this is what the armour looks like once it's been put on, apart from this being here. And yeah. So as I don't think I've said this before, but basically what I actually do is Wombourne Stormtrooper. I've only just started really, but what I've got all these different plans to do is to raise money for charity and go around my local area and stuff and just go around raising money for different charities and things and going to different events if you want to have me for a party or an event or something. I'm planning on taking part in the village carnival that we're doing at the end of this year. That should be interesting. So yeah, I'm sorry if you can hear all these annoying noises. It's just the armour does make noises. It's very annoying to me to be wearing it all the time. But yeah, so I'll leave links in the description, everything down below for all the stuff of where I got the armour from. most of the other videos I won't do shouldn't hopefully be as long as this, and they won't be as boring, but this was just sort of like my first video just to see how it went, but also for you to see what armour I've got and how it all looks and what basically goes on with everything. So yeah, because of when this video is going up, I wish everyone a very happy new year. Hope your year is very good. Hopefully my year will be good with this, so I can actually go around and do some things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.